Yo, what is up, peeps? So we are back in Birmingham after a long 30-day road trip that I just did. And I think last time I left y'all in Idaho, but this video is just a little bit different because I didn't get to film all the things that I wanted to because I went solo after I got to Washington. Or at least for a few days. So I'm gonna kind of just pop in and out, do some voiceover and whatnot, and walk you through the couple days in between Idaho and then Utah. Utah is gonna be after that, but there's so much from Utah. It was so awesome that there's gonna be 2 videos, and then that's gonna be down the road. So I'm gonna get into this one. Keep watching. I appreciate it, and let me know what you think about it. All right, so when we first left Idaho, we stayed at Lake Coeur d'Alene, as you remember in the last video where I was drawing on the map. And then we went over to, we were gonna try and do Kolchak Lake, the hike in Kolchak Lake, so we stayed in the Wenatchee National Forest. Really, we were right on top of a mountain down this little logging road, and just kind of pulled off the side of the road where this little campsite was. Made breakfast that morning. It started kind of hailing. It was just kind of little balls of hail. It was like snow, but it was just a little bit harder than that. And then, we got up the next day, had breakfast, made a breakfast casserole. That was just awesome. And then we went over to try and do the Kolchak Lake hike, but it was pouring down rain on us all morning long. It was cold, it was windy. And then when we got there, I couldn't find anything online about the gate being shut. And so the gate for the road was shut up to the trailhead of Kolchak Lake hike. And then so we were just like, you know what, plan B, we're going to the coast. So on our way to the coast, we went back up the mountain where we stayed, and it started snowing on us. And this was, I want to say June 20th in Washington, it was snowing on us. And then so we beelined it to the coast. It was probably 3.5 hours, but we wanted to see the Pacific Ocean, and we got to do that day. We went to or through Aberdeen, and then over to the coast, just south of Aberdeen, and it was awesome. It was really pretty. It was I was expecting more rocky stuff, but it was really beachy, and got into the rocks later on, but it was really cool to go see that. And then next day I dropped Scott off. We stayed at a rest area that night. I dropped Scott off at the Tacoma Seattle airport, and he flew back home, and then I went solo for a couple days. So I went down to Oregon. From there, after dropping him off, I went and stayed just outside of Reedsport, Oregon, just on this small little campsite called Smith Creek, I'm pretty sure, Smith Creek Falls. And the next morning I got up and hit the highway on the coast and went straight down to the redwoods. And the coast was absolutely stunning. It was beautiful. There's rocks everywhere in the ocean and whatnot, and that's what I was really picturing the Pacific to really look like. But as I worked my way down the coast to the redwoods, it was amazing. The redwoods, I didn't get to stay there too long because I was trying to make my way over across the state, and trying to make it to Vegas in a decent amount of time to meet Madeline. And so I kind of skipped out on some of the redwoods, but I'm definitely going to go back to that. And I skipped out on some other things that I really want to do. But I made my way over to South Lake Tahoe the next day. So I drove as far as I could until I was just tired of driving anymore, and I made it east of Sacramento, in this place called Placerville, and I stayed in a Walmart, and it did the trick. I got up super early the next morning and drove to South Lake Tahoe. I've wanted to see Lake Tahoe for a long time, and I was finally able to make that happen, and it was
it was awesome. I'm definitely going to go back and stay a full week, do it right and see everything. And from there, I was going to go to Yosemite. So I started making my way down to Yosemite, making the drive down there. And I guess I didn't read this, read over it, didn't look at it. I don't know what, but I didn't know that you had to have a reservation just to enter the park and drive through it. And so I didn't have a reservation, so I couldn't get in. And so I turned around. The line was super long to get in as well. So I turned around, and my next stop was Death Valley. And my Death Valley drive was only going to be like 4 hours, 4.5 hours from Yosemite if I made it all the way through the park. Instead, I had to turn around, and it turned my drive into another 8 hours. So that was another 13 plus, 14 plus hour day on the road by myself. Those 2 days, just in general, were kind of boring, driving all that much and, stopping here and there. But once I got about an hour away from Death Valley, and I stayed in this little OHV area, which is off-highway vehicle. And I did some playing around, crawled on some rocks with the rig, did some donuts, pulled out the drone, got some cool drone shots. The night was super clear, so the sunset was perfect. It was peeking over this little mountain, and it was really, it ended up being a great evening. So I enjoyed my time there, and then the next day, my stop was Vegas to see Madeline and her friend, and meet up with them, and then drive to Utah. But I was driving through Death Valley, and I woke up that morning, and it's a beautiful, clear morning, and after I stopped for gas, I saw one other car for like an hour and a half driving through the desert. And the drive was awesome, super pretty, super scenic. It wasn't super hot yet, but it was also super early in the morning. And I guess you could say it was definitely hot for like 7:30 in the morning. It was like 70 something, and getting close to 80. So I made my way into Death Valley. I got to see some sand dunes, and I think the coolest part about it was, and I wish I would have got this on film, was I was negative elevation. So I was negative 190 feet below sea level, which I thought was super, super cool because I'd never been below sea level on land. And I drove through there, made my way into Nevada, and then stopped in Vegas. Finally got to ride my bike a little bit, and met up with the girls. And from there, we went on to Utah. And from Utah, I've got so much footage of a lot of things. Abby, which is Madeline's friend, she filmed a lot of things, took a lot of pictures. So there's gonna be 2 videos from that. I spent about 7 days there, and there's just a lot of content. So I'm gonna try and put that up after this. Just be on the lookout for part 1 and part 2. I really want y'all to see that because it's an awesome place. I fell in love with Utah. And thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, or if you know any places in California, Oregon to overland, camp, free campsites, any hidden gems, some cool hikes, whatever it is, send them my way. Put them in the comments, DM me. I'll put my Instagram in here, so you can start following me on there too. I put some other content, some road trip stuff on there as well. So, but thanks again for watching this video, and like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.